Welcome to China Gateway 360, connecting global businesses with China through insights, opportunities, and trends. Today, we're diving straight into a critical operational challenge, successfully enforcing non-compete and non-disclosure agreements in China. We're dealing with a really high-stakes risk landscape here. Just looking at the numbers, there is a staggering 70% failure rate for litigated non-compete clauses in China. Usually, they get voided simply because the scope is drafted way too broadly or specific trade secrets aren't clearly identified. And on the flip side, relying purely on a standalone non-disclosure agreement, that's just as vulnerable. In Shanghai, for instance, standalone NDAs face a mere 35% success rate. So this creates what we call an enforceability paradox. While non-compete and non-disclosure agreements are entirely separately enforceable, they are fundamentally different tools. They have very distinct requirements and limits. The big takeaway here, combining both of these documents is absolutely critical to protect your business. Yet it's a process that foreign entities frequently mishandle. Let's break down why. Let's unpack the non-compete agreement, or NCA, first. Under Articles 23 and 24 of the Employment Contract Law, the constraints are actually pretty strict. You can't just apply this to everyone. It's restricted solely to senior management, senior technical staff, and personnel who have fiduciary duties or access to core secrets. Also, it's capped at a maximum of 24 months post-termination. Now, crucially, this comes with a mandatory cost. You have to pay the former employee at least 30% of their average prior salary every single month. If you miss those payments for 3 months, they can unilaterally terminate the agreement. And here's the major warning. The whole agreement is completely void if you can't prove that specific trade secrets actually exist. Now let's contrast that with the non-disclosure agreement. The NDA is a lot simpler to implement. It applies broadly to anyone with access to confidential information, it lasts indefinitely, and it costs you absolutely nothing in post-employment compensation. But there is a massive catch. If you want to win in court, proving a breach is exceptionally difficult. Without concrete evidence like leaked files or emails showing actual, unauthorized disclosure to a competitor, you're going to have a really hard time proving your case.
China Gateway. Gateway.
Your gateway to business in China.
This diagnostic matrix does a great job of summarizing that operational gap. With a non-compete, your highest risk is a judge voiding the agreement because your geographic or industry scope was just too broad. But with an NDA, your vulnerability shifts entirely to the burden of proof. You have to undeniably prove that the information was a secret, that a duty to protect it existed, and that unauthorized use actually occurred. This brings us to the core strategic solution. Combining both instruments is strictly essential. Think of them like puzzle pieces that only work together. By executing both, the NDA clearly establishes the legal duty and exactly defines what the secret is. Meanwhile, the NCA provides the powerful enforcement teeth. It triggers liquidated damages simply by preventing that employee from entering a position where they could use that secret in the first place. But of course, strategy requires execution. Successful enforcement really demands strict operational governance, and you can't just leave this entirely up to the legal department. Responsibility has to be divided. Your HR lead needs to prepare the files, the hiring manager is the one who explicitly defines the trade secrets and the competitive scope. Then your payroll owner ensures that the mandatory 30% compensation is strictly paid out every single month post-termination. And finally, employment counsel handles the independent checks and any dispute escalation. Throughout this entire life cycle, retaining a solid evidence trail is really your only safeguard, from employment contracts and work permits, right down to compensation approvals and system attendance. In China, verbal confirmation is never a substitute. The quality of your implementation is completely visible to a judge through your dated, retained evidence trail. Honestly, if it isn't documented, it simply didn't happen. To wrap things up, successfully protecting your trade secrets is an operational reality rather than just a legal exercise. You need the NDA to establish the duty and the NCA to provide the teeth, all backed by a rigorous management framework. That's all for this China Gateway 360. Like and comment to receive materials from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.